I think that a lot of CMOs are struggling with what does this fragmented market look like? And I think that one of the things that actually is confusing for CMOs, and really perhaps even mistakes that they're making, is confusing presence for impact. I think that the idea, because there are infinite amount of choices for individuals to be able to place their brand creative, to be able to actually deliver outcomes, the question is, what's the best way to actually do that? And what's the best environment in which to do it? The challenge, I think, that because there are infinite choices in this regard, individuals are often adding and stacking how many impressions you're getting from platform to platform to platform, and trying to aggregate what used to be just TRPs and GRPs with impressions, with likes and things of that nature, as opposed to thinking about this in a very coordinated manner. The idea is to be able to focus on an integrated program that actually delivers specific outcomes based on the desired audience that you're going after, and making sure that you're tailoring that creative for every specific audience. And so it's not just about how many people you reach, it's are you reaching the right people at the right time with the right creative. And it sounds simple, but when you're looking at the numbers, oftentimes an idea is, well, this campaign reached this amount of individuals, therefore we should actually deliver these amount of outcomes. Most people are actually selling something when you're talking about CMOs and brand creative, whether it be direct response or brand. But the idea is, are you delivering outcomes? At the end of the day, we're all bottom of funnel conversions, and everybody is actually looking for outcomes. And so if you're actually not driving impact and sales, then perhaps that media mix is off. That's actually one of the biggest things that individuals are challenged with. I'd say that there's one other thing to mention, if I may. Repurposing creative across different platforms and not designing specifically for the environment in which you're actually trying to have impact. You can't just actually make a spot or a brand campaign or what have you and then try to repurpose that, taking a 90 and cutting it to a 15 or cutting it to a 30, or taking an image that actually worked in a particular environment and trying to actually repurpose that elsewhere. Focusing on what a brand message might like to look like, a strong idea, and then allowing the environment to then allow you to then paint the picture around that environment. It's almost like painting a picture, taking a blank canvas and then painting a picture and allowing there to have a continuity across all the platforms in which this actually creative may appear.
Alvin, you mentioned the idea of reaching people in the right moment, in the right time. Tailoring creative brings up the idea of personalization, which promises relevance at scale, but Kantar's work shows attention and meaningful difference still drive growth. How should brands personalize video without losing what makes them distinctive?
Well, I think you need to start with a real idea. I mean, one of the things that we've actually done, we pioneered this from a content perspective. Kantar has been the pioneer for this research space for a long time, whether it be our context labs or all of our media research activity. It's really about making sure you're starting with a great idea. One example actually came from Heinz. It was really about, it's got to be Heinz. And I think what's been great about this is that it's a wonderful brand, many decades old. But what's interesting about this is that they actually took that brand idea and then brought it to life in different platforms in different ways. It wasn't about just taking a singular campaign. And when we do our research across the board, we have our Brand Z research that we actually focus on the top 100 brands and then campaigns associated with that. And being able to understand that in our framework, which is meaningful, differentiated, and salient, we call this our blueprint for brand growth, our MDS format. And it allows individuals to be able to take public and private information, allow that to actually be put into our proprietary system to then understand, is this really effective? Is it meaningfully different to be able to break through to the individuals that you're actually looking to influence? And it was fantastic to be able to see. And so for a brand that is actually as well known as Heinz to be able to actually take that brand idea and embody that across a number of different campaigns, across a number of different platforms, really allowed it to come to life. And it's using everything from TikTok shorts or the Snap shorts or Facebook Reels, and obviously on YouTube as well, and then traditional media. Being able to actually have that come to life in different manifestations has been wonderful to be able to see. And it was a great campaign for them in 2026.
Alvin, we're also seeing more video inventory than ever across premium streaming, fast, social, and short form, as you noted. How should CMOs think about majority reach when audiences no longer gather in one place?
Well, you've got to focus on being meaningfully different. I think it goes back to our MDS format. It's really not just a numbers game. You certainly want to focus on, as I love to say, you go fish where the fish are. And there are wonderful audiences aggregated across a number of different platforms. But you've got to show up in an authentic way on those platforms. The way that actually short form content is different than long form content, which is different from print, which is different from outdoor. These are actually interesting opportunities that need to work meaningfully together. It's really about campaign optimization and understanding it's like directing an orchestra. You've got to bring in the strings at the appropriate time. You've got to bring in the horns at the appropriate time to be able to make beautiful music. It's not just about everybody playing as loud as they can for as long as they can. You're going to get distortion across the board, and you're not going to be able to actually hear the beautiful, song that you've actually created. It becomes noise. And I think that that's where chasing impressions as opposed to chasing meaningful difference is how brands sometimes get confused by just chasing the shiny object. This is well beyond the spray and pray across all these different platforms. You really got to make sure you're focusing on whom are you actually going after, what message are you trying to send to them, and when do you need them to act? Those are meaningfully different opportunities, and then did it actually resonate? Not everybody buys something the moment they see the ad or the advertisement, and oftentimes this is also characterized as just branded entertainment or content. Advertising used to be disrupting an individual experience to give you a message. It's now seamlessly adjacent to content that makes it feel like it's a part of that experience. That's when actually brands break through with messages that resonate with consumers.
Speaking of what resonates with consumers, wanted to get your definition of what effective video at scale actually means, particularly this year.
Well, I go back to it's just got to be meaningfully different. It's not just the impressions. It's not just the numbers. Anybody can get impressions and numbers. That's part of what has made the democratization of storytelling fantastic for this industry. It's not just 3 or 4 different broadcast partners in which you've got to wait in line to be able to actually give your message. You actually have the power in the palm of your hand because you've got infinite choices and infinite consumption opportunities. But that's not the point. At this point, it's really about making sure that you understand the environments that you're actually going after, which is why I think that people have got great partners to be able to actually work on this. When you're actually a brand or you're trying to sell a service, working with agencies are still very, very important in this space. Working with our partners are very, very important in this space. And then also making sure that you're grounding it in connected intelligence. And that's the way we think about our framework. We're thinking about signal intelligence, decision intelligence, and then strategic intelligence to make sure that that's running through an entire campaign. So you're grounding it in data. It's not just what your gut feel is. It's about making sure you're making meaningful decisions based on what the numbers actually tell you, and then being able to actually put your human element on top of it.